Good morning, everyone. Well, it's 5:55 and it's starting to get light. It's very dusky. They call it dawn, but it looks like nighttime. Yeah, we're really losing a lot of light. So, what is today? Today is Monday. It's still the month that we call August. It's the day that we call Monday in the year that we call 2025. And the date is the 25th. The date that we called the 25th. So I hope you all had a great weekend. My weekend was very, very busy, as per the usual. Let me tip you down. Lower you maybe a little bit too. See how that works out. I hope everyone's doing well. So where did I leave off? I left off saying that we would look at fluoride. Because someone had a good question. If they want people to wake up, why the hell don't they take the fluoride out of the water and the toothpaste and whatnot? You know, the funny thing about that is that some of us grew up on fluoride and still have been awake. Some of us grew up on fluoride and our third eyes are still open. So it's very interesting how these things impact some people but not others. It's just really interesting to me. But anyway, let's get a true story, you guys, around fluoride first. Let's let the universe tell us a true story around fluoride. And then we'll ask some questions around it, depending on what they say. So the healing intentions, obviously, are always that for you folks. If you so choose, then stand in your power and decree that for your highest and greatest good, only and always. And breathe that in and let it integrate the body. All right, sip of my coffee. Don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of either of my channels. Rumble's still not up and running, and hasn't been since May, but maybe eventually that channel will be active again. I don't know. Will depend on if I'm ever able to upload over there again. It's just constantly crashing. So I try to upload. What I've come to realize is that as I'm trying to upload, it's crashing. So when it crashes, it'll bounce it will fail to upload because Rumble crashes. And it's just a pain in my ass. And I don't have all day to screw with it. So it is what it is. Until Rumble stops crashing all the time, I won't be uploading over there because I just can't sit and do it all the time. I'm constantly getting notifications to put the app to sleep because it's consistently crashing. And you know, Rumble is constantly crashing. Do you want to put it on sleep mode? So anyway, I think that's why I can't upload, because it's crashing as I'm trying to. So, but anyway, don't follow any links or emails in the comment section of the channels from anyone soliciting you for anything. Those would be scammers. So now let's get a true story, you guys, on fluoride. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a 7-card spread. We're just asking God, highest self, and guides to all come together and tell us what their perspective on fluoride, right? So we'll do that in a 7-card spread. That way it gives us the pathway, the subject, and a story. So let's see. Shuffle them a couple of more times here. And we will cut them and we'll lay them and see what they want to say around a true story around fluoride from Spirit's perspective. Okay. That's interesting. Okay, let me move this way a little bit. And tip you down a little bit more. See how that works out. Well, this is interesting. All right. Well, where do we want to start? We'll start with the story. Okay, we'll start with the story around fluoride. So the cycle of fluoride is ending, and a lot of the stuff that we're hearing right now, that would like keep you up because you're awake and you know it's bad for you and things aren't good. This is a cycle that's going to end. There's a lot of groundwork being done around fluoride, grounding in something new. What would they be grounding in? Probably information regarding fluoride, you guys. So across from this cycle of the fluoride and what it is that we know about it, why someone might be worrying about its health benefits or whatever, that cycle is ending. And it looks as though when you come across from that, you have that Knight of Swords, which is my war card, right? My warrior card, my good military card. This has been part of the battle, part of the war against humanity or whatever. But above that, it's saying we've got some victory laps in this war regarding fluoride. And that a lot of what we know about it or are hearing about it at this moment may not be such a worry when you've got this victory lap up here, right? So then we come down in our pathway, we have this Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles starts something new. He starts something fresh. It's very tangible. It's in his hands. It's a real deal, right? So the energy, the biggest energy that drives the pathway around fluoride right now is something fresh is happening. There's something new happening here on this earth plane in regards to fluoride. So what is new that's happening? Well, the cycle of fluoride is ending. So that's a fresh start there, right? And then what is fresh that's happening? It's become part of the war to give us the victory laps to end this cycle of fluoride being in our lives, in our food, in our water, whatnot. So something fresh is what's driving the story of fluoride. We come above to this pathway that zooms off of the freshness. We have another 9. And she's very sovereign, right? We have that 9 of Pentacles. If you look at, this is the Rider-Waite deck, right? Waite deck. And if you look, there's a little stack of things to one side of her and a larger stack to the other. So what I would say when I'm looking at this and the story around it is that it is being taken out of particular places, water sources, okay? And so it does look as if we have some places left to go, but there is a stack where she's putting her hand on that, like she's got a handle on this now. There is a good stack beside her that has addressed this fluoride and what have they been addressing it about it being in the water with this Page of Cups and how it affects children. So that's interesting. So now let's go on and look a little bit more. More story, please. And we'll lay the cards right over the top to get the full story. You know how we do it. And we'll shuffle them one more time. And we'll cut them We'll get the rest of the story, you guys. Something completely new here. Healing. Heavy focus on that. There's a heavy focus on. Wow, look at these cards, you guys. All right, so the story around fluoride continues. Let me get a sip of my coffee. All right, so something new being grounded in, right? This Ace of Swords touches the Seven of Rods, grounding in new things, ending the cycle, okay? All right, so it's the sword, so it's words, it's information, it's thoughts, it's vibration, it's technology. So what are they grounding in? They're grounding in information, putting it out there, basically, for everyone. So there's ending the cycle of the stories, the lies around fluoride, that it's good for you. And they're grounding in the new information. Information about it being in the water and how that affects children and people, probably. Not just children, because this Ace of Swords, also, if you look underneath our Queen of Cups, we have our Nine of Pentacles, which is the woman with her hand on one stack of pentacles, right? So information, they're grounded in information about the lies around fluoride, information to end the cycle around fluoride, how it affects children, and then it would also be, if you look underneath, how it affects adults, right? So new information getting out there to the public. So that's something that they're doing. They're bringing truth, because this sword is upright. So more people will learn about this, not just people that are into health and wellness and have been researching and looking into things, but more and more people will learn the truth about fluoride. And then overlapping the truth about fluoride, there is the Empress, and that's a higher arcana card. And she is over the truth, so they're going to tell people ways to heal and reverse probably the effects of the fluoride, ways to heal. They're going to be working on that healing for children and for adults. And yeah, birthing something new. This is a victory, you guys. So then you come down and you've got the Queen of Cups, and she's highly focused. So what is she focusing on right now? She's really focusing on healing the water and telling the truth. So that will be the first place that it comes out, if it hasn't already. We'll see more to the story. But it does look like there's a big focus on the water, and not putting it in the water, healing that water, right? So then we come down and we have Judgment. All right, so Judgment wakes those people up. They climb out of their coffins, and it's like they're finally living for the first time, honestly, because it's like they've been dead, right? So Judgment comes in and wakes people up to what? Well, Judgment is touching the lies, which represents the story around fluoride, okay? Judgment is touching the focus on the water, and Judgment is also touching the people underneath the Queen of Cups. So waking people up to the lies around fluoride and what it does to people, and waking people up to the fact that it's in all the water supplies, right? Okay. So then we come over from there and we have the World. So this is karmic. It's very karmic that not just the United States, or not just one state or one county, wake up to the lies around fluoride and learn the truth. It's very karmic that the whole world wake up to the lies around fluoride. This is major focus, because the World card touches the Queen of Cups, who is super focused, right? The World Cup touches our Knight of Swords, which is that good military, the people that have people's highest and greatest good for intentions. So when you're looking at something like fluoride, you would want to look at this like this is a war, so certain doctors are speaking up. You know, lots of people are coming out and coming together in this war to create these victories, to bring in this healing, to get this fluoride and the lies around fluoride out of our lives and out of our waters, and to bring in healing to clear the effects of the fluoride. This is a karmic time, which then comes down to 17, which is our star, where miracles happen and a light is shown, a bright light where miracles happen, and of course that's our 17. So I would say in the battle that we have going on in this world with between the corruption and the lies and, you know, working to keep people sick and down and defeated and, you know, all of that dark, heavy stuff versus the light with the people that are fighting to create fair elections and get the people out that have had the worst of intentions for humanity and get people motivated that have the best of intentions for humanity. In this, fluoride has actually been one of their main focuses. So we know that they're bringing attention to the crap in the food and the crap in the vaccines, and I did know that they were bringing attention to the fluoride situation. But this is a big deal, and it is being addressed, and that cycle of fluoride is ending, and it is part of this war, and we already have victory laps. So that tells me with this 6 of rods that we've already got these victory laps, that it's already being taken out of the water in some places. And then, of course, you know, when people hear the information, when everybody starts hearing the information, not just people like us, they will also have choices, because there are plenty of non-fluoridated toothpastes and things like that out there. So they will also have choices to not buy that crap, right? But maybe eventually those toothpastes that are made with fluoride will come out of the, right off of the market, because it will be proven to be so bad, right? So this is the story that the universe wants to speak to us about, God, highest self, guides, saying it is part of the war and it is ending, and they are working to take that out of the water and bring truth to people and bring healing to people. It's a big focus. It's a big focus. She's focusing on the fight, the war. She's focusing on the lies. She's focusing on the healing. She's focusing on the truth. She's focusing on waking people up. She's focusing on waking people up the world over. And she's focusing on 17. So 17 is focusing on this. So the Alliance, the people that are trying to help clean up the world from all of this bogus bullshit. So that's what I'm getting for a story there, you guys. And I just want to see if I've given this story to you in, you know, the best of my ability, to the best of my ability, and, you know, as well as they would like me to. Please and thank you. see if I can do a decent shuffle here. One more. So have I delivered this message to the best of my human abilities? Please and thank you. Yes, with that King of Cups. That's our water cup. That's our water card again. So they answered me with the King that, yes, I've given you this message to the best of my ability. I've done a good job delivering that to you. But this is the water card again, and it does say, you know, they're going to be taking this out of the water. So the King of Cups reveals things because things bubble up. They rise up because you know how the tides bring things up and ponds turn over, and you've got all of this stuff that comes up, rises up. So there's a lot to rise up around fluoride. And so it will, around the fluoride and the water systems and things that they're doing with the water and the fluoride. So that's interesting. So I did give you this information correctly. Now the next question that I have is, before I shuffle all of the, well, no, I'll just shuffle them all in. I'll just, because I got my confirmation there, so I don't need to keep the cards down. So the next question that I have, though, as I get ready to shuffle these all up, what I want to know is, eventually, will it become like, all right, so there are certain things that are not allowed to go into foods. There's certain things that are not allowed, you know, certain poisons and whatnot that's not allowed to come into this country. It's not supposed to anyways. There are certain poisons and stuff that aren't allowed to go into other countries. We all need to get on the same page there. Because like here in our country, we have Roundup, which is horrific. It's horrific. And it's banned in other countries. But one of the question that I want to ask is, eventually, as we're moving through this phase of cleaning things up and healing coming in, will fluoride be banned? Will it be banned the world over, and no more fluoride in toothpaste? So in other words, even if you're as ignorant as the day is long and you go into the grocery store, you're not gonna have to make a choice between a fluoridated toothpaste and a non-fluoridated toothpaste, because fluoride will be banned and it won't be on the shelf at all. So that's what I want to know. I want to know if eventually the fluoride will be banned and not be on the shelf at all. One more shuffle and we'll cut them 3 times. So please and thank you. Eventually, will fluoride be banned and not be, you know, in anything, and not, will it just flat out be banned? Please and thank you. Yes, it's going to flat out be banned with that 5 of Hierophant. The secondary message to that is, this is a cabal system. Fluoride was a cabal system, and that whole system is going through change, great change. And so, yes, the fluoride will eventually be outright banned. It will be banned because it will be shown that it's bad for us. It will be banned. So that's good to know. So that's the story around fluoride. So that's what I'm getting. So that's what I'm getting there. So now I'm going to ask the question that you asked. So if they want people to wake up, why not just remove the fluoride out of things? if you're wanting people to wake up, why not just, like, start removing that fluoride now? It does say that healing is happening and we've got victory laps. It's been removed in places. Why not remove it everywhere? I think I know why things are playing out the way that they are. Honestly, you guys, I think it's because you can't just take something away from people that think it's good for them. And I know a lot of people that still buy the fluoride toothpaste and whatnot. They think it's good for them. They think they need that to keep their teeth healthy. If you start taking things away that people have been really highly trained into believing is top notch for their health or well-being, and you take it away from them, you haven't let them go through the process of learning about it via the means that they're doing right now with, like, Bobby Kennedy speaking out about it and certain counties bringing attention to the fact that they don't want it in their water systems anymore, then you're going to have a bunch of people that feel like you've just done them this great disservice and they're not going to get on board with you. So it's all about educating, I think. And I also believe that's why they're doing we're taking this out of the vaccines and we're taking this out of the vaccines and this is not good for you and doesn't need to be in there and we're taking that out. It's an education process. People are learning. And I think that's what's going on here too, but let's just see, okay? So if you want people to wake up, why not just if you're working on waking people up, why not just take well, no, I don't even need to ask that. I can ask if I'm correct in assuming the reason why it hasn't just been announced and taken out of everything. Is that because you're trying to educate people on things, like waking them up via education so that they can wrap their heads around it and embrace the change? Is that why? Can you give me a yes or no with one card? Is that why? Is that why things aren't just removed and people aren't people aren't just told, well, you know what, we just removed all of this and this is why and that's it, it's done? It's because your education has to come into play. Is that, like, just trying to wake people up via education, free will and choice? Waking people up that way through education so they can get damn good and damn pissed. Please and thank you. Yes. So they're waking people up via education. So things will be removed via the education so they can get good and pissed, because that's when people are really, like, ready to birth something new and want to bring in something healing. So I do have a question though. Even though you gave me that story about removing it from places and victory laps and things, has it been, like, is it still, oh, how do I want to word this? Has it been removed from places that people don't even realize it's been removed from? Like, I guess what I want to know is, has it already been removed? Is it true that it's already been removed? I'm wondering, has it already been removed from the water systems, but that they're not telling people that it's been removed from the water systems because they want to educate people? So you get, like, one county talking about how they don't want it in their water anymore. And, you know, you have Robert Kennedy coming out and talking about fluoride. So the education process is happening, but has it already been removed from all the water systems? Is fluoride has fluoride actively been stopped from going into the water system? So we know that eventually it's going to be like openly banned. We know that they're educating, and we know that things are being done the way they are to wake people up and want the healing, to educate through education, the wake up. So what I want to know is, has it already secretly been pulled from the water systems? It's just that not everybody knows that yet, and it's playing out in a particular way. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Please and thank you. Please and thank you, because you did say we had victory laps, so I'm just wondering, has the fluoride been pulled out of everybody's water systems? Those of us that live in the country don't have. So it's saying, I got a straight up yes with that, the Ace of Pentacles. So what we're getting is that, yes, fluoride's already been taken from the water systems. We just don't know it. Like, they're not advertising that. So the story went that some places had already removed the fluoride from the water systems. So that's the news that's out there, right? So that's the education. Then people ask why, and we saw the information comes in, and we asked, like, are you waking people up to the dangers of fluoride through education? So yes, but we did get those victory laps. So it's been removed, they say, from the water systems. It will be banned completely. You won't be seeing it on the shelves. Information is going to keep coming in and educating people. Some places are known to have removed the fluoride from the water. This is part of the education. But they're saying that, yes, it's been removed from the water systems. So, before I get off here, you guys, I just want to know, because like I said, listen, I grew up, they talked my mother right into buying the fluoride toothpaste. So I grew up on fluoride toothpaste. My God, I used that for years and years. Really probably haven't been off it that awful long in comparison to how long I used it. I'm awake. My mother was awake. My father was awake. My mother was not awake when it came to medicine. She trusted her doctors. But in many other ways, she was wide awake, and my father was wide awake. And so fluoride, my third eye is open. I mean, so fluoride hasn't impacted me. And I bet all of you used fluoride. A lot of you. I bet a lot of you grew up on fluoride toothpaste and going to school and having those little things that they'd put into your mouth, and then they'd look at your teeth. Those little, in my school they were pink, turn your teeth pink, looking for cavities that were probably ridden with fluoride, I grew up in the country. I didn't drink city water, so maybe that impacts people more or whatever. But I want to see why some of us, I mean, they say it calcifies the pineal gland and whatnot, but I want to see why some people are impacted more by... I just want to... I have a question. I think I can sum it up just by asking this question, you guys. So, I believe we all come here with our path and our plan and this we choose to come here with what it is that we want to learn, how we want to grow, blah, 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 right? And so it makes sense to me that some of us would come in to be awake, to be the way showers. And so if that's part of our soul's mission, so that we can come in and we can be awake, and we can be raised by people who are awake, and then we can raise children that are awake, and then they can spread their awakeness out, and we can educate our friends and maybe wake people up along the way. Because I mean, I've been waking people up to shit long before COVID ever, you know. Sometimes people thought I was crazy, but the more normal the conversation, the easier it is to wake people up, right? So, yeah, like a lot of people that I engaged with stopped using pesticides and Roundup and Miracle Grow and shit like that. They stopped doing that because of conversations that I had with them. You know, so that's waking them up to what's happening to our plants and our food and our earth and raping the soil and stuff. So conversations like that, it's easy to wake people up. But I think some of us come in to just be more aware. And if we're going to come in to be more aware so that we can spread the awareness, then it wouldn't behoove us to be impacted by things like fluoride, right? And then I think some people come in to be unaware because they want to, because we already did that in another life. We came in unaware in another lifetime. So we're coming in aware in this one. And if people are coming in unaware in this lifetime to learn via having been tricked or dumbed down or whatever, to experience that, to have the soul's knowledge, then yeah, obviously they'd be more susceptible to things that would dumb a person down, because that actually puts them on their path of the way that they wanted to come in and experience and learn. So having been tricked, having been dumbed down, and then been given the information to then wake up to the atrocities that have happened, right? So they would have to be more impacted by these things than people like us that have already done that in another lifetime, probably. And so in this lifetime, we're just coming in with this awareness where we trust no one and ask questions about everything, right? Because we've already been that person that trusted and was dumbed down. Is this making sense to you guys? I hope so. So anyway, let me just ask the question, you know, for some of us, we're not impacted by it. It hasn't stopped us from being awake. It hasn't stopped us from being aware. It hasn't stopped us from seeking information and searching for truth and being discerning and not just trusting. Fluoride hasn't impacted all of us that way. And is that because for those of us that it hasn't impacted in that way, we came in meant to be awake and aware. So it is in our soul's contract to not be negatively impacted by things like fluoride. Am I onto something there? Please and thank you. Just with one card, you can give me a yes or no. There we go. We've got our Four of Rods celebration. So some of us came in more balanced, and in our physical journey, we're not impacted by this stuff. So let's just cut them 3 more times and let them do just a little speaking to this. So not everybody, but some of us came in more balanced to not be impacted physically with this rods by these things that kind of do people harm. So it's just part of the deal the marriage that our souls made when we came in here. So there's something about those of us that came in to be awake and aware and spread awareness in any way that we can, and consistently wake up. There's something different. There's something different about us as children. The deals that we made, the soul contracts that we made to come in here as children, right? Something different about us, you guys. We've just always been grounding the higher energies in to tame these beasts so that we're not impacted. We triumph over this surrendering because we're grounding in these higher vibrations. And we've been doing it since childhood. We're just grounding in higher vibrations, taming the beast. We've been doing it since childhood. We made these deals to come in, the soul marriage of course, coming in this way. Our vibration, we're pulling in those higher vibrations. So this surrendering, we triumph over it. And we have ever since we were children. We just came in to be a little different, you guys, and not be impacted by things like that. And that's why you're seeing it with some and not with others. We've been fortunately grounding in these higher vibrations, which have been taming the beasts that we experience here on this earth plane. I'm sure you guys all got vaccinated at some point. You may have stopped getting vaccinated. You may have said no more for me. I haven't been vaccinated since I was a kid for anything. But, I got vaccines. Grew up on fluoride. I've had chemtrails in my skies. You know what I'm saying? There's things, we're just exposed to it. But it's saying that some of us aren't impacted because of the deals, our soul contracts, the deals, the marriage that we agreed to come in here as children, grounding in these higher vibrations, taming those beasts, and conquering the lower vibrations and the harm that these things would do. We tame that beast because we've just been always just a little more connected, grounding in those higher vibrations, if that makes sense to you. So did I just read this correctly to everybody? So some of us are just grounding in higher vibes that have helped us, and it's part of our soul contract. And it's helped us. That's what's going on. Have I just read this correctly, please, and thank you? I just read this correctly. So some of us agreed to come in here for a particular purpose. And those of us that are in here on these particular soul paths, we have just been grounding in a higher vibration. Those heavenly vibrations that have helped us to tame these beasts. So that's why we're not impacted. It's the vibration that we're pulling. Whether you know that you're pulling it or not, right? Because we've been doing it since children, since childhood. Some of us knew, some of us did. Some of us knew just what we were doing, and others didn't, but it's a higher vibration, right? So yeah, that's what's going on. That's why some people just weren't impacted by it, and others have been. So I'm of the belief that we all come here with contracts, and what we want to experience, what our soul path is. And I believe everybody I do believe some people will never wake up. They're not meant to. And yes, we did look into, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but somebody did ask me to look into, are some of these people that are acting out poorly, are they being influenced by negative energies, darker energies, interdimensional beings, demons, whatever you want to call them, right? They're ungreat energies, put it that way. And if that's why they're like that, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you or not, but I already did a reading on that not all that long ago, just this summer, because I had watched a video where I had literally been watching people's faces contort when they heard the word God. And I did a reading on that. And yes, a lot of these people are being influenced by negative entities and whatever name you want to give them. But yes, and that's why I say keep our vibes high, stay in a good place, pull in that love vibration. Don't do things that make us susceptible to these hitchhikers hopping on board our aura and then influencing us without us knowing it. And, when we do our shadow work, when we do our emotional work, we get to know ourselves, our authentic selves. And so we're really quick to understand when that voice isn't ours, when we're compelled to do something, or we feel as though we're compelled to do something, but hey, that doesn't feel true to us, and it's not what we would normally choose. And when we become very conscious, we can recognize if we're being manipulated. But when people aren't conscious, they don't recognize that they're being manipulated, influenced, or overtaken. So they roll with it and they embrace it because they think it's them. They don't know the difference. That's why it's so important to do our emotional healing, to do our spiritual healing, to do our shadow work, to get to know our authentic self so that we recognize who we are and can recognize when it's not us, when it's something else trying to influence us. But yes, I absolutely got in that reading that, yeah, some of these people are being they're being influenced by negative, dark entities. Yes, I got that. We did. It was a video done this summer, you guys. So it's, summer's short and it was summer. So you should be able to find it pretty easily if you go back. It's talked about in the beginning what I'm going to read on. So you could just maybe even, I know I haven't got everything titled because I get censored sometimes by titles and things say tarot insight. But you could probably go back and find that where I talk about that, the negative entities. Yep. Lots of people are being influenced by that. So before I get off, I was going to ask, so some of us have just been grounding in those higher vibes that help save us from the lower impact of these things that they've been doing. Those higher vibrations, they've been grounding into our body to tame those beasts that we've been having to look at in this world, right? So we're not as impacted by those things as other people, as some others might be. So my question is, I know people that say they only woke up 5 years ago. They haven't been conscious their whole lives. And I know some people are just waking up now, and some people woke up 20 years ago, So my question is, at the end of the day, does it really even matter? Yes, it matters that we get this stuff out of our food and out of our waters and we clean up this planet. But for those of us that have come in to be part of this world right now, and we've got these soul paths and these lessons that we want to learn. It would seem to me during this phase of things that we all came in, and doesn't matter how much fluoride we've taken in, if we decided that we were going to be manipulated for, let's say, the first 35 years of our lives and dumbed down, and we full on knew that from 35 on we would begin to wake up so that we could become righteously pissed and, join the fight and, be part of never wanting these things to happen on this planet again, then it would seem to me that it wouldn't matter how much fluoride somebody had had or how many vaccines, if it's in their soul contract to wake up around 35 years old, to then become aware of all of these things and to get in the fight and have the passion to stop these things, that will happen regardless. Am I correct in that? Because I feel like, if it's a soul contract, then we'll wake up regardless of how much they've dumbed us down. Am I correct in just assuming that, please and thank you? And then I'm gonna jump off of here and wish you all an amazingly beautiful and happy day. Well, let's just see. I really am all about the soul contracts, personally, myself. And I just see it as everybody has their own soul contracts, their own soul path, their own mission. So let's see. Please and thank you. Oh, they want to talk. So, they want to talk. So, this is the 8. So, that's those higher vibrations, the infinity that goes on and on forever, right? That's our abundance and our happiness. It's very spiritual. And then we've got our moon, and the moon is our intuition. All right? And then we have our cup set up. Cups are emotions. But this guy is very passionate. He's got on the red boots. He's courageous. He's got on the red cape. He's walking away from what doesn't serve him. Even before everything's all set up. So we're talking about people who are impacted, and do they come in and then they'll just kind of come to at a certain time. Like I said, if you're 35 years old and you're due to wake up, then it doesn't matter how much, how many vaccines or fluoride you've ingested, or how many preservatives in your boxed macaroni and cheese, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And it is saying that, these higher vibrations come in, and yeah, you kind of wake up, and then you start being guided by your intuition, and you walk away from the things that weren't serving you. But it's a different type of wake-up call. With this, it would be based more in, like they don't even realize that they're coming to. So there's more of a story here. Like, it's just... All right, so yeah, it's like the higher vibrations and the intuition just sort of come to, and then they walk away from the things that were set up for them that they've been living by. They just walk away from it. Everything just kind of shifts, and they get this new sense of like passion and courage. And they just walk away from that. It's just meant, and so it happens. And the energy just comes in with these 2 8s, right? So that energy just comes in and ends this cycle for people. Because apparently they've always been like, even if it seems as though they're so asleep, there's been pieces of them with this 9 that we're always sort of aware, right? Like, even if they don't realize it, it's little tiny awarenesses. And then the cycle just ends for them and they become sovereign. And yeah, it's part of their soul contract, you guys, with this too. So it is a soul contract for people to just walk away from things when they're meant to. That energy will just come in and move them in a different direction. It's part of the soul contract. So did I explain, as best as we can via the cards, how this works? Did I say it the way, to the best of my human abilities, or in a way that makes enough sense so that you're okay with how I've delivered the message? I knew with that 8 that there was a little bit of a story as to explain it just a little bit. So did I explain this okay? Please and thanks. I explained it okay. I explained it okay. So it's like when people are meant to, they just walk away from that old stuff that was set up, even though it was always missing something. They might not have known that, but they realize that it just doesn't serve them. Their intuition just kind of wakes up, and their passion and their courage, and they just walk away from that stuff that doesn't serve them. And it's like that energy comes in fast. So think about, for any of you, if there's any of you that woke up in 2020, think about how that energy came in fast. And then think about what you may have already kind of known for tidbits, that when you think about your life, you go, oh, yeah, I kind of recognized this or that, but I didn't pay enough attention to it. And then when you finally had this full-on wake-up call, when that energy moved in really quick, think about how those few things now seemed more significant. And know that that's your soul contract. That's your soul contract. You woke up exactly when you were supposed to, how you were supposed to. And yeah, I explained it pretty good. I brought that energy down in for us to tame the beast. But the secondary message is, it really is all about that soul contract and when we're due to start grounding in that information, that higher vibration that does then tame the beast so that we can see clearly. So if any of you only just woke up in 2020, will you just share your story with me? Or a little bit about your story, about how that energy moved in and you just kind of knew it was time to walk away from that old way. And then you recognized these little pieces that you had always kind of known, but you'd shoved off or didn't pay attention to until this energy came in and your soul contract sort of ignited in this regard. I would love to hear it from you folks, if there's any of you that just woke up suddenly like that. It doesn't even have to be in 2020. It could have been 9/11 that woke you up. It could have been, there's so many things where I know there are big events that have kind of woken people up. Or you might have just woke up one day without a big event and started to feel different, see things different, and start having a new energy that you were pulling in. But I would love to hear the stories of that. Please and thank you if you want to share them. I would love it. So let's close off. It's 6:54, so we've been on here about an hour. Let's get one last card, you guys. As the energy stands for the information that we have been given, is there anything that you would like to leave us with? One card for insight, advice, clarity, what have you. Please and thank you. And let's cut them. Well, this one wants to fall, so we'll take it. The Hermit. So know that it's, okay, so they're leaving us with one card. So know that these cycles are ending. Heavenly energies are coming in, ending a way of the way that things were. The Hermit shines a bright light on the darkness so that we can find our way and we can see, right? So right now, the Hermit is shining a bright light, and we're going to see a lot of ugliness, and that's how we have to see the ugliness in order to end the cycles, you guys. So we have to allow the lights to be shown so that people can see the ugliness, so that people can understand, oh, it's raining. Yay, because we're in a major drought. I'm even seeing it here on my property, and there's only been a handful of times since I've been here. I've been here 33 years. It's only been a handful of times where I've actually, on my own property, been able to see that we are in a drought because my land's so wet. But I actually have spots on my lawn that have burnt, and some trees where the leaves are just turning, like getting dry rather than turning color or whatever. It's not good. So anyways, yay that it's raining. Sorry for the interruption, you guys. But yeah, we're living through a period of time where the heavens are shining a light on the darkness so that people can see. And this is going to be what ends the cycle. So the ugliness is going to be brought forward. And, you know, for some of us, we may have been awake a long time, and you don't need to see all the ugliness because you already know. And you want it to be taken care of ASAP because you've known for a long time. But we're not God. And the heavens, God, guides, our highest self, spirit crossed over that's helping us in this battle, are doing it their way. And they're working through men to do it a particular way. Just know that we're being guided and we're ending things. And the spotlight's going to get shown on things. And, you know, if you're awake, you're part of the spotlight, right? Because God works through us, as well as, you know, always working around us. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. It's a very highly guided time, very high vibrational time when we have the guide shining that spotlight to end cycles and to show us the truth, shining the light on the dark, shining the light on the truth, shining the light on the lies. So that's what I'm getting. And remember, you're part of the light. So if you're aware, then you're shining a light on things too. All right, you guys, I love you all very much. I hope that you have an amazingly beautiful Monday. I hope that you had a great weekend. Yeah, and I will see you all soonish. Okay, you guys, take care. Bye.